Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadramaya. Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parishwara Hasto Tarasata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Shri Lesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Dai Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter number 3, titled The Lord's Pastimes Out of Vrindavan. Text number 4. Kakudminu vedana sodamitva. Kakudminu vedana sodamitva. Swayam vare nagnajitim muvaha. Swayam vare nagnajitim muvaha. Tad bhagnamanam api gridyatognam. Tad bhagnamanam api gridyatognam. Jagnik sata sastra brita swasastre. Jagne shata sastra brita swasastre. Kakudminu vedana sodamitva. Swayam vare nagnajitim muvaha. Tad bhagnamanam api gridyatognam. Jagnik shata shatra brita swasastre. Kakudminu vedana sodamitva. Swayam vare nagnajitim muvaha. Tad bhagnamanam api gridyatognam. Jagne shata shastra brita swasastre. Jagne shata shastra brita swasastre. Kakudminu vedana Sayam vare nagnajitim. Mataji's. Okay, word for word translation. Kakudmina, bulls whose noses were not pierced. Avedanasaha, pierced by the nose. Damitva, subduing. Swayamvare, in the open competition to select the bridegroom. Nagni Jitim, Princess Nagni Jiti. Uvaha, married. Tad Bhagnamanan, in that way, all who were disappointed. Api, even though. Grijyataha, wanted. Agnan, the fools. Jagne, killed and wounded. Akshataha, without being wounded. Shastra Britaha, equipped with all weapons. Swasastre, by his own weapons. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. By subduing 7 bulls whose noses were not pierced, the Lord achieved the hand of Princess Nagna Jiti in the open competition to select her bridegroom. Although the Lord was victorious, his competitors asked the hand of the princess, and thus there was a fight. Well equipped with weapons, the Lord killed or wounded all of them, but he was not hurt himself. There's no purport, we'll go to text 5. Priyam Prabhur Gramya Eva Priyaya Vidit Sur Achra Jutarum Yadarte Mraji Adravatam Sagano Rusandaha Krida Mrigo Nunam Ayam Vadunam. Translation. Just to please his dear wife, the Lord brought back the Parijata tree from heaven, just as an ordinary husband would do so. But Indra, the king of heaven, induced by his wives, henpecked as he was, ran after the Lord with full force to fight him. Purport. The Lord once went to the heavenly planet to present an earring to Aditi, the mother of the demigods, and his wife Satyabhama also went with him. There is a special flowering tree called the Parijata, which grows only in the heavenly planets, and Satyabhama wanted this tree. Just to please his wife, like an ordinary husband, the Lord brought back the tree, and this enraged Vajri, or the controller of the thunderbolt. Indra's wives inspired him to run after the Lord to fight, and Indra, because he was a henpecked husband and also a fool, listened to them and dared to fight with Krishna. He was a fool on this occasion because he forgot that everything belongs to the Lord. There was no fault on the part of the Lord, even though he took away the tree from the heavenly kingdom. But because Indra was henpecked, dominated by his beautiful wives like Sachi, he became a fool, just as all persons who are dominated by their wives are generally foolish. Indra thought that Krishna was a henpecked husband who only by the will of his wife, Satyabhama, took away the property of heaven, and therefore he thought that Krishna could be punished. He forgot that the Lord is the proprietor of everything and cannot be henpecked. The Lord is fully independent, and by his will only he can have hundreds and thousands of wives like Satyabhama. He was not, therefore, attached to Satyabhama because she was a beautiful wife, but he was pleased with her devotional service, and thus wanted to reciprocate the unalloyed devotion of his devotee. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshulmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna everyone. Thank you for coming to Srimad Bhagavatam class today. So we're continuing on with the chapter 3 of 3rd canto, titled The Lord's Pastimes Out of Vrindavan. So this is Uddhava speaking to Vidura, and he's recollecting Krishna's wonderful pastimes outside of Vrindavan. So in the previous chapter he was recollecting the Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes, and now he's remembering Krishna's pastimes in Mathura and Dwarka. So today we covered 2 texts. The first text, Uddhava is remembering the pastime of how Krishna married one princess whose name was Nagnajiti. And the second text we read today, Uddhava is remembering the pastime of when Krishna, he goes and he battles Bhaumasura, who was causing a bit of trouble for the demigods. And actually Indra, he himself went and pleaded with Krishna, please, this demon Bhaumasura, he's causing so much trouble for us, can you please do something about it? And then Krishna, he defeats Bhaumasura, and afterwards Krishna, as he was coming back down to Dwarka, he just picks up a parijata tree and gives it to his dear wife Satyabhama. And when he does this, then Indra, he becomes angry, and as the translation and the purport explains, Indra, being henpecked by his wives, being inspired by his wives, he got enraged and then he went to fight with Krishna. So that's the second pastime that we'll discuss today. So firstly we'll briefly go over the pastime of how Krishna marries Princess Nagnajiti. There's no purport, we'll just briefly discuss this pastime. So one thing we can learn, like in this pastime, Krishna, he goes to a kingdom, and the name of the king in that city, his name is Nagnajit, and he has a princess named Nagnajiti. And Nagnajiti, she's a pure unalloyed devotee of the Lord, and immediately when she sees Krishna has come, immediately she's praying to Vishnu that please, I want to marry Krishna. And actually her father also wanted her daughter to get married to Krishna. And that's why her father had arranged this condition that whoever wants to marry my daughter, he must subdue these 7 very powerful bulls. And these 7 bulls, they were like unconquerable. No one could conquer these 7 bulls. And the acharyas explain that this king Nagnajit, he purposely made this condition that these 7 bulls have to be conquered, because he knew that only Krishna, he himself, could subdue these 7 bulls. He knew that no one else on the planet could kill or subdue these 7 bulls. So he purposely made this arrangement so that when other kings or other princes would come and ask his daughter's hand in marriage, he wouldn't have to feel embarrassed or ashamed saying, no, I can't give you my daughter, she's meant for Krishna. So to save himself from that embarrassment of saying no to so many kings and princes who were coming to him, he made such a difficult challenge. And it's mentioned that this king, he knew that only Krishna could subdue 7 bulls, so he made this condition. Similar to how Draupadi's father, he made a very powerful or very difficult condition that whoever wants to get Draupadi's hand in marriage, they have to shoot an arrow up in the ceiling, there'll be some fish and you have to pierce the eye of the fish, but you can't look up to the ceiling, you have to look on the reflection on water, and then looking down you have to hit. And I think there was some obstacle or something, the fish was moving or there was something impeding the vision of the fish also. So the father of Draupadi, he also knew that no one in this world could accomplish this except for Arjuna or Krishna or Balram. And his father, her father, wanted Draupadi to marry to Arjuna. So that's why he made this condition so that Karna or whoever else, all these other powerful kings, when they come, they all won't be able to do it and only Arjuna could do it. And then his desire, Draupadi's desire of being married to Arjuna would be fulfilled. So in a similar way, this king Nagnajit, he made this arrangement that these 7 powerful bulls have to be subdued, otherwise you can't have my daughter's hand in marriage. And many powerful kings and princes, they came and they tried, but they all got smashed by the 7 bulls and they went back home wounded. So then Krishna comes, and then Krishna very nicely, sweetly, he comes and meets the king, and Krishna says, I've come to your kingdom, to your city, because I want to marry your daughter. And please, although as Kshatriyas we never ask anything in charity, still today I'll put aside these principles and I'm going to beg for your daughter's hand in marriage. So in this way, Krishna, he puts forward the proposal to the king. And in the king, he also very nicely, he says that I would love to give you my daughter in marriage, but I've made this condition that these 7 bulls, they have to be subdued, and unless someone does it, they can't have my daughter's hand in marriage. So can you please, just fulfill this condition, just go and subdue the 7 bulls, you're the Supreme Lord, nothing is impossible for you. Then Krishna says, okay, I'll do it. So then Krishna goes, and immediately, it's mentioned as Krishna, he goes down, he immediately expands himself into 7 forms, 7 different Krishnas. And the acharyas, like Sridhar Swami, they explain the reason why Krishna, he expands himself. Because Krishna is the Almighty Supreme Lord, he could have subdued these 7 bulls just by staying in one form. He didn't have to expand himself to 7 forms. He could just do it just in one form. But the acharyas explain that Krishna, just to show the princess Nagnajiti, because Nagnajiti, she is also watching all this along with the king, just to show the princess that don't worry, you won't have to compete with all the other queens which I have in Dwarka. I can expand myself and I can simultaneously enjoy with each and every one of you queens. I can simultaneously enjoy with all of my wives. So don't worry, you won't miss out. You won't have to fight over my association. So just to drive home this message to Princess Nagnajiti, it's mentioned, the acharyas explain, Krishna, he expands himself into 7 forms. So from this we can see how sensitive Krishna is in dealing with his devotees. He understands exactly what's going on in devotees' minds, and he knows exactly what to do to make devotees feel more assured, to make devotees feel happy and feel protected. Just previously, in 1 or 2 Bhagavatam classes ago, we were hearing about the killing of Kamsa. I think Rajaprem Prabhu, he was discussing this. And again, in that pastime, we see again the same point of Krishna's sensitivity in dealing with his devotees, how he understands exactly what's going on in the hearts of each and every one of his devotees. So in that previous pastime we discussed a few days ago of Krishna's killing Kamsa. So first Krishna and Balaram, they smash Chanura and Mustika. And all this is happening in like a big wrestling stadium. Like you have sports stadiums, like we have North Sydney Oval, just down the road. So in the similar way, they had these big wrestling stadiums. And there were thousands of citizens all assembled in Mathura, all to watch this, this wrestling match between Krishna and Balaram and Chanura and Mustika. So there was this big stadium. And just like in cricket stadiums, you will have some VIP seats somewhere high up with nice vision of the whole match going on. So in the similar way, Kamsa, along with his ministers and associates, he had some VIP seats arranged in the stadium. And from there he was watching the wrestling. So he was somewhere high up in the stadium. And then it's mentioned in Bhagavatam, or Krishna book, that after Krishna and Balaram, they smashed Chanura and Mustika, then Krishna, he immediately jumps from the bottom of the arena, immediately straight on to where Kamsa is sitting, high up in the stadium, in one leap. And Krishna, he immediately lands where the VIP seats are, where Kamsa is seated on his throne watching the game. And immediately when Kamsa, he sees Krishna jumping up from the bottom of the stadium up towards him, Kamsa immediately, he gets up from his throne, he takes off his sword, and then he starts slashing his swords towards Krishna. And Krishna, he just flicks away the sword, and it's mentioned, first of all, Krishna, he takes off Kamsa's crown. And after taking off Kamsa's crown, then Krishna, he grabs Kamsa by his hair. So generally Kshatriyas, they have like long hair. They wouldn't have shortcut or anything like that. So he grabbed Kamsa by his hair, and then from the top of the stadium where Kamsa is situated, Krishna, he throws Kamsa all the way to the bottom of the stadium. And then Krishna, he himself again jumps from the top, and he comes and lands straight on top of Kamsa And then after landing on top of Kamsa, then Krishna, he just starts pounding Kamsa's chest again and again and again. And just with the blows of Krishna's fist, that's it, Kamsa, he leaves his body. Kamsa is finished. Now, while all this is going on, Krishna's parents, Vasudeva and Devaki, they're watching this whole scene of how Krishna and Balram, they're fighting these big wrestlers, Chanura and Mustika. And then Kamsa, he himself was a huge giant. And you can imagine, although Krishna's devotees, Devaki, Vasudeva, they're pure unalloyed devotees of the Lord, for them, happiness, they're beyond material happiness, distress. Still, you can imagine what kind of psychological, damage they must have had, because Kamsa had mercilessly killed 6 of their babies. They would beget a child. As soon as the child was born, Kamsa would immediately come, take that baby and immediately smash it on a stone slab and just kill them. In this way, Kamsa had killed already 6 of their babies. So you can imagine, the fear and dread Vasudeva and Devaki were feeling when they saw Krishna coming to Mathura and battling with Chanura, Mustika and Kamsa. The Vatsalya Bhav was causing so much fear and dread in them that, this demon Kamsa, already he has killed 6 of her babies, and now Krishna and Balram, they're just little kids, They're just 10 or 12 years old. How can Krishna and Balram fight with Kamsa? So you can imagine what would have been going through the hearts of Devaki and Vasudeva as parents. Already 6 of their babies were smashed by this big brute Kamsa, and now their 2 remaining children, Krishna and Balram, they're just little boys, and now they're here with Kamsa. So they were feeling so much fear and dread inside themselves. And Krishna, he knew this. And just to pacify them and just to make them understand, don't worry, you don't have to be afraid anymore. Don't worry, Kamsa is dead. Kamsa is dead. You can relax. It's okay. Even after killing Kamsa, as Brajaprem Prabhu is explaining, it's explained in Bhagavatam, Krishna, he then drags the dead body of Kamsa. Again, he grabs Kamsa by his hair, and he drags the dead body of Kamsa all around the wrestling arena, all around the stadium. Just to show everyone, primarily his mother and father, Vasudeva and Devaki, that don't worry, Kamsa's dead. Yes, he's really dead. Look, I'm dragging his dead body all around the stadium. He's not moving. It's not like he's unconscious. No, he's actually dead. It's okay. You can relax now. You don't have to be afraid anymore. So again, in this pastime, we see how sensitive Krishna is in dealing with his devotees. He knows exactly what's going on in the hearts of each and every one of his devotees. And he acts accordingly to reciprocate with his devotees. So just like we saw that few verses ago with the killing of Kamsa, we're seeing the same thing here in text number 4 of this chapter, of how Krishna, he subdues the 7 bulls. He could have just taken our Sudarshan Chakra and just chopped off the heads of all the bulls. That's it, finished. But he'll do things in a nice, sweet way to increase the love of his devotees, to give assurance to his devotees. So in this pastime, Krishna, he chooses to expand himself into 7 forms, just to show Nagnajiti that, don't worry, although I have many wives, I can simultaneously expand myself and marry each one of you and separately enjoy with each one of you. You don't have to compete with each other for my association. So like this we'll see time and time again in Krishna book of how wonderfully and sweetly Krishna is dealing with his devotees, understanding their moods, understanding what's going in their minds. Another thing I was thinking of as we were, over the past week or so, we were hearing so many nice verses about how Krishna was killing different demons in Vrindavan, and now in this chapter we heard of how Krishna, he killed Kamsa, and in today's text how he subdued the 7 bulls. So as we were reading these verses, I was thinking of how Krishna, when he kills demons in his pastimes, he'd always do it in a different way. He would always be very creative in the way he kills his demons. For example, first comes Putana. How does Krishna kill Putana? All these demons, Krishna, he could just take out his Sudarshan Chakra, just chop off the demon's head, that's it, finished. Everything is over. Or he could just punch them and that's it, they're gone. But the first demon that comes, Putana, out of all the ways Krishna could have killed this demon Putana, he decides to kill Putana by sucking her life air out. And I was thinking, I've watched so many movies, cartoons, read so many novels, I've never come across a story where someone kills another person by sucking them. So, and then the next demon that comes, Sakatasura, this time Krishna decides, okay, This time I'll kill him just by kicking him. So this time Krishna, he just kicks Sakatasura, and that's the Sakatasura is finished. Then you have Trinavarta. Then Krishna says, okay, this time, okay, there's this dream in Trinavarta. Okay, let me go on a ride with him. I'll go up high and I can see nicely, how it looks like, get a nice aerial view. And there was one town called Kanaundra where we were staying in on traveling Sankirtan. That's said to be the hot air balloon capital of Australia. And people go on hot air balloons high up in the sky so they can get a nice aerial view, of everything. And it's a nice exhilarating experience. So in the same way, Krishna, he goes on a joyride with Trinavarta. It's not a fearful experience, it's like fun for him. Yeah, let me go have a nice aerial view of how Vrindavan looks like. And he goes, and this time Krishna decides, okay, I've already sucked the life air of Putana. I killed Sakatasura by kicking him. This time I'll kill him by choking him. So this time Krishna, he decides to choke Trinavarta to death. And then you have Dhenukasura and the ass demons. And again, they could have just punched Dhenukasura or kicked him, but no, they decide to have fun with these ass demons. And how do Krishna and Balaram kill Dhenukasura? This time they grab these ass demons, they would run up and charge towards Krishna and try and kick Krishna with their hind legs. And as they were charging up towards Krishna, trying to kick Krishna with their hind legs, Krishna and Balaram, they would immediately catch hold of one of their back legs and then start twirling them around in circles. And it's given in Krishna book, just with the centrifugal force of being swung by Krishna and Balaram, these ass demons, they gave up their body. And then that dead body, Krishna and Balaram, they threw up into the trees. And in this way, all these ass demons, they were being twirled around by Krishna and Balaram, and they were all flying in the sky and hitting the trees. And he's giving these ass demons, they were in different colors. So as Krishna and Balaram are twirling these demons and throwing them into the sky, into the trees, there was a great colorful, panoramic scene Prabhupada explains in Krishna book. All these, like fireworks, So like this, there was multicolored demons all going, flying in different directions, hitting the trees falling down. So it was a nice, like a circus happening. So in this way we see with all the demons that Krishna kills, he won't be just very stereotypical like in movies or cartoons. Okay, there'll be some hero, he will just come, use some gun and just shoot the bad guys or punch them or kick them and just kill them like that. But Krishna, he is the supreme enjoyer. So whenever demons comes, he does things in a different way. He has fun with them. He won't kill them he will always kill them in a very unique, nice way. Same thing with Kaliya. Krishna doesn't kill Kaliya, but he defeats in battle. Again, Krishna could have just grabbed Kaliya's heads and just, made a knot, just like Bhima did with that person who was coming for Draupadi. He could have just made Kaliya into a ball or punched Kaliya or kicked Kaliya or choked Kaliya. But no, this time he decides, this time I'm going to have some fun. Instead of choking, punching or kicking, I'm going to dance on him. And again, from all the movies we watch, cartoons, we've never come across any story where the hero, he defeats someone by dancing on their heads. It's completely unheard of. But Krishna, because he's the supreme enjoyer, he's able to do that. Whatever he wants, he can do. So this time he thought, okay, I'm going to subdue this demon Kaliya, but at the same time I'm going to dance and I'm going to evoke the conjugal love of the gopis and show them, what's awaiting them in the future during the Rasa Leela. And so in the same way, this Kaliya pastime, Krishna, he chooses to subdue out of all the different ways he could have done it. He just chooses, okay, this time I'm going to defeat Kaliya just by dancing on his head. And again, it's such a unique way to subdue someone. Another thing we can see that all these different sports and games that we see in this material world, they're all actually coming from the spiritual world. For example, I remember once when my parents, they took me to Darling Harbour, and there was this arcade where they have all these different games. And you'll see, usually in arcades, they'll always have some kind of, there'll be one game where it's like a dancing game. There'll be a little dancing patch, arena, and then there'll be some signs on the computer which will show, put your foot this way, put your foot this way, or there'll be some lights, and you have to follow and, move your feet around in different ways and follow the dance moves along with the music. So games like this, where does it all come from? All it's coming from Vrindavan, it's all coming from the spiritual world. As Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, this material world is just a reflection of the spiritual world. So all these different games and things we see, it's all just coming from Vrindavan. It's all just people trying to imitate Krishna. It's all people trying to enjoy like Krishna. Other sports we can see. If you look around the world, sports is such a big influence on people. And all the famous sports in the world, they're all to do with ball games. For example, cricket, you have a ball and a bat and you hit the ball. Basketball, again, you put the ball through the hoop. Baseball, you use ball. Tennis, again, you hit the ball. And soccer, that's probably the most popular game. And I think it's Cristiano Ronaldo. I think he's number one or somewhere in the top three in terms of followers on Facebook. He has the most number of followers, he has the most number of likes compared to anyone else. And he's just a soccer player. So that's how mad people are about games like cricket, soccer, baseball, basketball, and all these famous sports stars. They get paid millions and millions of dollars as entertainers. So everyone in this world, they're mad after these games like basketball, soccer, or baseball. And all these games they're to do, if you analyze, they're all some kind of ball game. And if you read Krishna book and you read about what games Krishna used to play with his cowherd boys, you'll see many of the games Krishna and Balaram used to play with the cowherd boys, with the gopas, were all ball games. There'll be certain types of fruits, like round-shaped fruits. They would play soccer with those fruits. Or sometimes they would throw the ball into the sky and then try and catch the ball. And this way there's different descriptions given in Bhagavatam of Krishna book of different ball games Krishna and Balaram used to play in Vrindavan. So again we see all these different things we're seeing in this material world, guy and girl going out, soccer, sports, videos, computer games, they're all actually coming from the spiritual world. It's all actually conditioned souls trying to enjoy like Krishna. In that 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is talking about how the spiritual world is a reflection, or this material world is a reflection of the spiritual world, Prabhupada explains that if you go to the bank of a lake and you see the reflection of the tree, what is the surface on which the reflection happens? The surface is the water. Okay? On the surface of the water, you can see the reflection of the original tree. So in the same way, Prabhupada, he puts forward this question. Then what is that surface based on which the spiritual world is reflected into the material world? Prabhupada explains that just like water is the surface on which the original tree is reflected onto the lake, in the same way, it is material desire, which is the surface due to which the spiritual world is reflected as the material world. And if you think about it, you'll understand. From my reading of the Shastras, again and again it's mentioned, the same point, that why was this material world created? Because the moment the jiva, he is enjoying nicely with Krishna in the spiritual world, but just momentarily, just that thought came. What would it be like if I was the center? What would it be like if I enjoyed just like Krishna? Here, Krishna is the center. What would it be like if I'm actually the center? I want to enjoy like that. Just the moment that thought crosses to our mind, Prabhupada explains, we fall down to material world. And Prabhupada explains the reason we're all in this material world is because we're envious of Krishna. Because we want to be the boss, we want to be the supreme controller, we want to be the supreme enjoyer, we want to be the supreme proprietor. Because we want to be all of these things just like Krishna, because we want to imitate Krishna. Krishna creates a whole separate reality, a virtual reality, material world, where we can go into illusion, we can go into Maya, where we can be the boss, we can try and imitate Krishna. So just like the real tree is reflected on the surface of water, Prabhupada explains, the spiritual world is reflected as a material world based on the surface of material desire. It is due to that envious desire that we all have, that we want to be the boss, we want to be the enjoyer, we want to be the controller, we want to be like Krishna, we want to imitate like all the different enjoyments Krishna is doing in Vrindavan, we want to do that ourselves. Because of that material desire, we're here in this material world. So all these sports, games, different entertainments, all these different things we're seeing all around us, different ways of sense gratification, it's all actually coming from the spiritual world. And they're all invented in the mood of people trying to imitate Krishna. But as we read from the Shastras, because constitutionally our position is that of a servant of Krishna, we can't be happy doing this. We can't be happy in trying to enjoy like Krishna, because constitutionally the nature of the soul is that he is a servant. So only when we engage in devotional service and serve Krishna's senses, can we actually be truly peaceful and happy. Okay, we'll go to the next text, text 5. So that was text 4. So I'll just read the translation again. Just to please his dear wife, the Lord brought back the Parijata tree from heaven, just as an ordinary husband would do. But Indra, the king of heaven, induced by his wives, henpecked as he was, ran after the Lord with full force to fight him. So in this pastime, there was this demon called Bhaumasura. And he was creating a lot of trouble for the demigods. It's mentioned in Bhagavatam that first of all he invaded the demigods, and then he forcefully took away the earrings of Aditi, the mother of Indra or the demigods. And then it's also mentioned that he stole Varuna's umbrella, and then there was this mountain peak of Mandara mountain where the demigods used to assemble and have their heavenly enjoyment, and then he steals that whole mountain peak also. In this way he was stealing different things from the demigods and causing them a lot of trouble. And none of the demigods, they could battle with this great demon Bhaumasura. And this demon Bhaumasura was actually none other than the son produced from Bhumi Devi, Mother Earth, and Krishna. So it was actually Krishna's own son. And his mother was Bhumi Devi, or Mother Earth. So naturally, you want to imagine, he would be very powerful. So none of the demigods, they could battle him. And then Indra, he goes to Krishna. He bows down in front of Krishna. It's mentioned in Bhagavatam. He puts his head on Krishna's feet and Krishna says, Krishna, please, we need help. This demon, he's stolen my mother's earrings. He's stolen Varuna's umbrella. He's stolen, this mountain where we go enjoy. He's doing so much crazy things. We can't stop him. Can you please come and help us? So Indra goes in a very helpless mood and he begs at Krishna's lotus feet. And then Krishna says, okay, I'll come. And immediately, Krishna, he orders Garuda to come. Then Garuda comes. And generally, when Krishna will go to battle, he will just go alone with his ministers or his army. But this time he chooses to take one of his wives along with him to the battlefield. And this wife is Satyabhama. And this is very interesting because generally you don't take your wife to the battlefield. They stay at home and you don't want your wife to come on the battlefield in general. But the Acharyas explain why did Krishna take Satyabhama with him. Some of the Acharyas, they explain that Satyabhama, Krishna knew that she had a very feisty, adventurous kind of mood. So different wives of Krishna, they would have different moods and personalities. And Krishna would reciprocate with each and every one of his wives in a different way, just to exchange loving reciprocation. Just like we were explaining at the start of the class today, how sensitive Krishna is in dealing with his devotees. He knows exactly what's going in the mind of the devotees. He knows exactly what mood they have. And he will deal with them, he will reciprocate with them in an ordinary manner, just to exchange that loving rasa with them. So different wives, they have different moods. And also it's given in the Shastras that in this instance, Krishna will marry 16,000 wives, and then plus he has 8 more. And all these different wives or queens of Krishna, the Acharyas explain, they're all physically different sizes. Some of them are taller, some of them are shorter, some of them more skinny, some of them a bit more plumpy. So all the queens, they're physically in different sizes. And Krishna he would accordingly change the size of his form to match that particular queen's size. So if a particular queen was a bit taller, Krishna would manifest a form which was a bit taller to match that queen's size. If a particular queen was a bit shorter, that Krishna who was with that shorter queen, Krishna would again reduce his size to match that particular queen. So in this way, again, we see how sensitive, to the detail Krishna is when it comes to his devotees, when it comes to reciprocating with his devotees. So physically, Krishna is doing this. He's taking on different forms and sizes to match each and every particular queen he has. And also, on a psychological level, he understands what kind of mood different queens have. For example, Rukmini, she is very submissive. And Satyabhama, she's the opposite. She's very feisty and she's very adventurous. She's always on Krishna's case. So Krishna, understanding that Satyabhama, she's like a very adventurous personality, Krishna thinks, hey, this is a nice opportunity to take Satyabhama on an adventure. hey Satyabhama, why don't you get on top of Garuda? I'll go take you out for a ride today. We'll go battle some demons and we'll have some fun. And we see the same thing even happening, same thing reflected in the material world. People trying to enjoy like Krishna, people trying to imitate like Krishna. Krishna, when he wants to go out for a ride with his queens, he'll go on Garuda. In the material world, we see movies or even real life, when someone, they want to impress their girlfriend, they want to impress their wives, they'll go buy a Lamborghini, go buy some nice sports car, and they'll tell their girlfriend, hey look at my nice fancy new car I've bought. Come along with me, let's go for a ride to the countryside in a brand new Ferrari. So in this way, we see the same thing in the material world. People trying to impress their girlfriends or their wives, buying nice sports cars, going out for a nice adventurous ride to please their girlfriend, to please the wife. All of this, where is it coming from? All of this is coming from the spiritual world. All of this is simply imitation of Krishna. So same thing Krishna is doing. When Krishna, he goes for a ride, he doesn't need to get a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. He doesn't have to work hard, collecting lots of money, and then go buy a nice sports car. No, he just has Garuda. And they just fly in the sky. Wherever they want, Garuda can take them. So Krishna, he goes for a ride on Garuda, and Satyabhama is there along with him. And they go to the city where Bhaumasura is situated, and they battle. And few other reasons the Acharya is given of why Krishna, he takes Satyabhama with him. So number one, because Krishna understands that Satyabhama, she's very adventurous, very feisty kind of personality, so this will be a nice experience for her. She can come to the battle with me, she can see how I'm killing these demons, and she'll have a lot of fun. Another reason the Acharyas give is that this demon Bhaumasura, because he was the son of Bhumi Devi and Krishna, Bhumi Devi had asked for a boon from Krishna, that you can only kill Bhaumasura if I give my permission. Otherwise, please don't kill my son Bhaumasura. So this boon was given by Krishna to Mother Bhumi. And Mother Earth, or Bhumi Devi, is said to be an expansion of Satyabhama. So that's why Krishna, he purposefully takes Satyabhama onto the battlefield, because when Satyabhama, she'll see Krishna, engage in intense battle with this demon Bhaumasura, Satyabhama, she wouldn't be able to take it anymore. And then she'll say, oh Krishna, don't just kill him, finish it off. I can't see this battle anymore. I can't stand seeing you, being shot with so many arrows. Just finish this demon, just kill him. So Krishna knew that if he takes Satyabhama, and she's, only from her is Bhumi Devi an expansion, there will come up time in the battle where Satyabhama would tell me to just kill this demon Bhaumasura. And that way I can keep the boon intact, and that way I can kill Bhaumasura. So this is the second reason the Acharyas explained why Krishna, he takes Satyabhama with him. And the third reason the Acharyas give of why Krishna takes Satyabhama is explained in today's verse. Some time ago, Narada, he had come to Dwarka, and he had given a Parijata flower to Rukmini. And again, Satyabhama, being a very feisty personality, she immediately becomes jealous, and she's immediately on Krishna's case. How come she got the flower? Why not me? I should also get a flower. And then Krishna, to satisfy her, she says, what to speak of a flower? I'll give you a whole tree. Just wait, we'll go out shopping one day, I'll get the tree and I'll give you a whole tree. And Hridayananda Maharaj, he was explaining in his purports to this section, just like we see in the material world, guys, they'll take out their girlfriend, or guys, they'll take out their wives to go shopping just to please their girlfriend. Because ladies, they like to shop, they like to buy this, they like to buy that. So just to please them, they would take them shopping, and they will stand up or put up with, going to different stores to buy things for their consort. So in the same way, we see the same thing happening with Krishna and Satyabhama. Satyabhama, she has this desire, I want Parijata flower also. The Krishna says, oh, don't worry, why just one flower? I'll buy you a whole tree. And then Hridayananda Maharaj explains. So in the same way, we're seeing material world. Krishna, he goes out shopping with Satyabhama to get a whole Parijata tree from the heavenly planets. So that's the third reason the Acharyas give of why Krishna, he takes Satyabhama along with him. So they go, and then, as expected, there was a time in the battle when it got really intense, and Satyabhama says, hey Krishna, please no more, just finish this guy off. And then Krishna says, okay. Then Krishna releases his chakra and kills Bhaumasura. After Bhaumasura is dead, then when they're coming back to Dwarka, along the way, Krishna, he just picks up one of the Parijata trees from the heavenly planets. And immediately when Krishna, he uproots one of these Parijata trees, as is explained in today's verse, Indra's wives, they get agitated, and they start poking Indra. hey, what is this? This is our tree, How can this Krishna just take one of these trees from the heavenly planets? And they start nudging Indra, that, come on, you have to do something, use your thunderbolt, stop this guy. He can't just take the trees from here, they're from Dwarka. This is our heavenly trees in the heavenly planets. And as I explained in today as well, Indra being henpecked, he forgets that Krishna is the supreme proprietor of everything. He forgets that Krishna is the supreme Lord Master, and he goes to battle with Krishna. Then obviously he gets smashed. And one important thing we can learn from this, Prabhupada explains in today's purport, he was a fool on this occasion because he forgot that everything belongs to the Lord. Now if you remember, we were explaining how did Krishna first of all go to Bhaumasura. The only reason Krishna went to battle with Bhaumasura is because who came to him pleading? Indra. So just like an hour ago, Indra had gone to Krishna to Dwarka, and it's explained in Bhagavatam. Just an hour ago, Krishna, he goes to Dwarka, puts his head on Krishna's lotus feet, and begs, oh Krishna, we're having so much trouble. My mother's earrings have been stolen by this guy. Varuna's umbrella is gone. The mountain peak of Mandara mountain is stolen. This Bhaumasura, he's causing so much trouble. Please, Krishna, can you come help us? So just 1 hour ago, the same Indra falls at Krishna's lotus feet and begs for help. And then an hour later, immediately he forgets everything. And that same Krishna who defeats Bhaumasura, that same Krishna who retrieves his mother's earrings and gives him back, the same Krishna who does all these different things for him, he immediately forgets and he starts battling with that same Krishna. So from this we can understand the power of Maya, the power of forgetfulness of Krishna. It's so powerful. Just in an instant we can immediately forget. It's so powerful. Just an hour ago he was going in such a nice, humble, sincere service mood, completely surrendering himself at the lotus feet of Gopinath. An hour later, being blinded by material opulence, being blinded by lust, specifically is given in this section. He was henpecked by his wives, and being blinded by the beauty of his wives, he immediately forgets that this is the Supreme Person of God, that everything belongs to him. Forgetting that, he goes to fight with Krishna. So from this we can understand the power of the illusory energy, of how easily she can make us forget. All these demigods, Indra, Nala Kuvera, Manigriva, they're all devotees of Krishna. They've all studied the Shastra, they've all studied Vedas, they've studied Bhagavatam, they've studied the Puranas. They know all these slokas about the superior position of Krishna. Nala Kuvera, Manigriva, they knew what is the etiquette when a saintly person comes, how to receive him. But still, the power of the illusory energy is so strong that Narad Muni is coming, and shamelessly, they don't even cover themselves. They don't greet or receive Narad Muni in a befitting way. They've studied the Shastras, just like we're studying Bhagavatam, we're studying Bhagavad Gita, all these demigods, they've studied the Shastras even more than us. But this is the power of Maya. Just in an instant, she can make us forget everything. And that could come in different ways. In this instance, it's coming due to lust. In the 5th canto of Bhagavatam, Jada Bharat, in his allegory of the forest of mature enjoyment, he gives this analogy. That just like one enters a forest, and immediately one is blinded by a whirlwind, or like a tornado or dust storm. When a dust storm comes, the dust is going everywhere and one can't see anything. It's just hurting your eyes. If you open your eyes, the dust gets into your eyes and your eyes is burning, and one is completely blinded, he can't see anything. In the same way, in the 5th canto of Bhagavatam, Jada Bharat explains that this is just like a man when he's blinded by lust, or when he's blinded by the beauty of his wife. Just like in a dust storm, you can't see anything. A man who's blinded by the beauty of his wife, in the same way, he similarly becomes blinded, as we're saying with Indra. And immediately he forgets all that Shastra knowledge he had of Bhagavatam, of the Shastra, immediately goes down the drain. Another thing we see repeatedly in the Shastras that blinds people is pride, or the arrogance that comes from material opulence. And we see that with Nala Kuvera and Manigriva. They were blinded by that, Bhagavatam explains, that pride of material opulence, material wealth. And being blinded by that, again, they lose the vision that this is a saintly person, I need to receive him properly, I need to deal with him accordingly. That's why Queen Kunti in the 1st canto of Bhagavatam, she prays that persons who have all this material opulence like high birth, wealth, fame, position, beauty, they're unqualified to worship Lord's feet. Because when one has these material qualities, material wealth, it naturally makes one puffed up, naturally makes one very proud. And being puffed up, immediately one loses vision of Krishna, as we're saying with Indra. Therefore, she's saying in the first canto, that's why I pray, or she's explaining, those who are in impoverished condition, they're actually very fortunate, because in that helpless, impoverished condition, they can fully take shelter of your lotus feet. So we've gone a bit over time, but yeah, that's the last point we'll discuss from today, that about the power of Maya, the power of forgetfulness of Krishna, how we need to be very careful. And Prabhupada, he taught this by his example of how when we come, I think one prayer Prabhupada puts forward, Radharani, is to my dear mother, please protect me from Maya. One time Prabhupada was praying in front of the deities, and one of the devotees, they had the courage to go up to Prabhupada and ask, Prabhupada, what did you pray for, if you don't mind me asking? And Prabhupada said, I prayed to Radha Gopinath to please protect me from Maya. So Prabhupada is teaching from his own example, the heart of a devotee, how a devotee needs to be afraid of Maya. This is actually good for a devotee. This is healthy fear. And another time also Prabhupada, he explained the same point. He said, the only difference between me and all of my devotees is I'm afraid of Maya, and my devotees, all my disciples, they're not afraid of Maya. So another time Prabhupada, again, he's driving up the same point, that we need to have that healthy fear of the illusory energy, healthy fear of forgetting Krishna, healthy fear of falling into Maya. Okay, we'll stop here. Gantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.